Yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer now. Gosh, it was probably as longer now. There was a Coachella where Tupac was on stage as a hologram,
Yep.
rapping alongside Snoop Dogg and some other folks. And that was a huge unlock slash wow moment for a lot of people. They're like, they brought someone back from the dead for a performance. It's kind of crazy, right? A lot has happened since then. And now we have, AI voice models that can be trained on like 5 words and create like pretty accurate, uh, you know, voices that are basically, you could take just the 5 words that I say and then train on my voice and spit out full paragraphs of copy that sound exactly like me. And it even gets better if you just train for a few minutes of with data, right? So there is very much a world where if I'm in my studio here, I can put up a green screen for my guest. I can, create my guest, and I've seen it even working now where you can actually take and you can lip sync, or so you can lip. I guess it is lip sync. You're syncing their lips to what they're saying. They do this for different languages. So right now I could be speaking Spanish to you or Japanese, and my lips would look like I'm speaking Japanese if you just run it through this post processing production that's out there. What I would do is I would say, okay, let's just take a great philosopher like Alan Watts. If you go to alanwatts.org, his website, you can download 500 hours of his talks, right? Like that in MP3 format. Again, with the training, you could go and take all of that data and say, okay, I'm taking that entire corpus. I want to understand who Alan Watts is, his philosophies, feed in some of his books as well. And all of a sudden, you have a pretty interesting, compelling AI model that will speak and act and talk and think like Alan Watts. Now I can sit down and in real time have a conversation and interview people that have passed away. I could do this with Einstein. You could do this with a whole slew of different people and actually, have full on conversations. And yes, the AI is kind of filling in some of the gaps and trying to come up with his best assumption of how they would answer certain things. But if you have enough data, I'd imagine you get pretty close. I think it would be a fun experiment. I don't know that this is not a business. This is just more like a thought experiment. Like, what if we went and tried this to see what would happen? I mean, you could do this with all different types of leaders, both good and bad, that have passed away. You can imagine some pretty extreme examples of previous leaders that were pretty evil that you could bring in, their data and thinking. And it just, it would just be fascinating to see how this unfolds. And I have to imagine it's coming soon.
What about taking it to the next level with speaking to people in our lives that have passed away?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the problem there is like, just, do you have enough data? Like I have, my dad's passed away, 13 years ago now, something like that. And I think about what I have of him, and I have a few recordings of him saying a few things, a bunch of emails, but they were, just little 2 or 3 sentence things here and there. So I don't know that I have the data required for that, but we certainly will, like, my kids will be able to do that with me.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
for
mean?
sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And I was thinking about this the other day because my dad was like cleaning out a closet and he had found a bunch of DVDs, like old family videos, and he sent me he sent me a bunch, and I hadn't seen these people, like, as my late grandfather, my other late grandfather. I haven't seen them videos, moving pictures of them in such a long time. Um, and there's just something about watching someone in video that, like, you really, it hits different than a photo.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I just got done sending my entire box of old videos, mostly VHS, honestly, and getting them converted by a company. And they sent them to me, and I hadn't seen my grandma in, since she was alive, like almost 30 years ago or something. I was a little kid,
Hmm.
I saw her last. And just to see her there was in talking was such a trip.
Such a trip. And I mean, the MVP of this, like, even if you don't have enough video footage of your grandmother, but you knew a few things that she used to say, and you have maybe some of her voice, like,
Yeah.
just like, "Good morning, Kevin." Like, hope you have a great day.
Yeah. It's funny that we were just talking about Alan Watts, and I saw somebody hacked a Raspberry Pi to be their voice assistant, and they used Alan Watts training data, and it was like totally Alan Watts saying, "Good morning." Like, enjoy your day today. You have 3 meetings or whatever. And I was like, what the hell? Like, it's such a trip.
Such a trip. And I just think that I know I personally would pay tons of money for something like that. Um,
Yeah.
so I think there's a huge business around that.